7:06 p.m. Rome time, white smoke. And as that smoke rose and billowed into the night air, St. Peter's Square erupted. It was a moment of pure joy for them, of profound prayer, of the chance to witness history. Soon the square was packed with more than 100,000 rain-soaked people, their eyes turned upward in anticipation to the red-draped windows of the Loggia of St. Peter's, everyone waiting to see the new pope. And then French Cardinal Torrens stepped out to pronounce the ancient words.
Habemus Papam.
We have a pope, but who?
Sancte Romani Ecclesiae Cardinalem Bergoglio.
Jorge Mario Bergoglio of Argentina waited in the wings, Vatican TV capturing the moments before he greeted the world under his new name. Pope Francis, the first of that name, a Latin American where 40% of the world's Catholics now live.
And now, whispers are echoing through the halls of St. Peter's Basilica and beyond. Whispers that Pope Francis may soon step down, or that something far more inevitable is unfolding before our very eyes. At 87 years old, Pope Francis has become a figure both revered and controversial. He has redefined the papacy in ways that few before him dared to attempt, pushing the Catholic Church in a direction that has sparked both admiration and resistance. But as the years wear on, so too does his health. He has been seen relying more and more on a wheelchair, sometimes appearing frail, sometimes speaking with a shortness of breath that was not there before. He has suffered repeated health scares, hospitalizations, surgeries, infections, and now the world is beginning to ask the question, how much longer can he continue? And perhaps even more importantly, does he even want to? Pope Francis himself has spoken openly about the idea of resignation. In recent interviews, he has said that a pope should have the humility to step aside when he is no longer able to lead. He has even suggested that the church should normalize papal resignations so that the burden of leadership does not become unbearable for those too frail to carry it. But does that mean he is preparing to do exactly that? Or is there something more at play?
Ad conditionem certam perveni, vires mias, in gravescente etate, non iam aptas esse ad munus Petrinum eque administrandum. Bene consciusum hoc munus secundum suam essentiam spiritualem non solum accendo et loquendo exequi debere, sed non minus patiendo et orando. Qua propter bene conscius pontes huius actus plena libertate declaro, me ministerio episcopi Romae, successore Sancti Petri, vi permanens cardinalium, die 11 aprilis bis 15 commissum, renunciare ita da die 28 February bis 13 hora 20.
For over 600 years, the idea of a pope voluntarily stepping down was unthinkable. Then in 2013, Pope Benedict XVI shattered that tradition. He claimed his health had deteriorated to the point where he could no longer effectively lead the church. He stepped away into quiet seclusion, living out his days as Pope Emeritus, a title the world had never truly seen before. At the time, the Vatican assured the world that his decision was purely personal. But over the years, rumors have persisted. Was Benedict XVI pressured into stepping down? Were there forces within the church that wanted him gone? And now, a decade later, as Pope Francis approaches the twilight of his papacy, many are beginning to wonder, is history repeating itself? Because unlike Benedict, Francis has been a pope who has not shied away from making waves. His tenure has been one of dramatic change, of breaking traditions, of confronting the very foundations of Catholicism in ways that have divided the church itself. He has clashed with conservative factions, pushed for a more progressive interpretation of doctrine, and opened discussions that once seemed impossible within the Vatican's ancient walls. He has emphasized mercy over dogma, embraced openness over rigidity, and invited the church to have conversations about topics that were long considered taboo. But with change comes resistance. And in the Vatican, resistance is never passive. The Vatican is not just a place of faith, it is a place of politics, of power struggles that rival those of any world government. Behind the closed doors of the Apostolic Palace, alliances are formed, rivalries simmer, and decisions are made that shape the future of the church. Some believe that forces within the Vatican, Powerful cardinals who oppose Francis's reforms may be encouraging him to step down before he cements his legacy. They see his frailty not just as a personal struggle, but as an opportunity to push for a new leader, one who will undo the changes Francis has fought for. But Francis is no ordinary pope. Unlike Benedict, he has never been one to retreat from a challenge. If he resigns, it will not be because of pressure. It will be because he decides the time is right. He has made it clear that he believes in serving as long as he is physically and mentally capable.
The Vatican hasn't said much about his health, but some of his struggles are obvious. The Pope can resign and has stated he would think about it when he can no longer do the job.
But how much longer can he hold on? How much longer can he continue to battle not just his own failing body, but the growing political storm within the church? And then there is the other, far more unsettling possibility. What if Francis is not preparing to resign at all? What if, instead, we are witnessing the final days of his papacy, not by choice,
Pope Francis
but by faith?
greeted the crowd and then said, "Today's catechesis will be read by one of my helpers because I still have a cold and cannot read well."
His health has been declining for years. The Vatican insists that there is nothing to worry about, that his recent hospitalizations and surgeries were routine, that his condition is under control. But those who have been watching closely can see the truth. His movements are slower. His voice, sometimes shaky. His presence at public events has become more limited. If he does not step down, then at some point, the inevitable will happen. And the world will once again see the ancient traditions of a papal funeral unfold in St. Peter's Square. The bells will toll, the faithful will gather, and the church will enter a new chapter, not through resignation, but through mourning. And that raises the biggest question of all. What happens next? Who will come after Pope Francis? If he steps down or if his time simply runs out, the College of Cardinals will gather once more in the Sistine Chapel. Another conclave, another secret vote, another moment that will determine the direction of the Catholic Church for years to come. Will they choose someone who will carry on Francis' vision? Someone who will continue his reforms, his push for inclusivity, his challenge to centuries-old traditions? Or will they go in the opposite direction, electing a new leader who will seek to restore the church to its more conservative roots? This moment, this uncertainty, will shape the future of one of the world's oldest institutions. And whether it happens through resignation or through the passage of time, the transition is coming. The Vatican knows it, the world knows it, and soon the Catholic Church will once again be at a crossroads. The only question now is, when? What you think? Is Pope Francis preparing to resign, following in the footsteps of Pope Benedict? Or are we witnessing something much greater? Perhaps the final chapter of his papacy. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Your engagement helps us continue bringing you thought-provoking discussions on the stories shaping our world. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Very clear on the side of Pope Benedict. He says 28th February at 8 o'clock, I shall resign from Bishop of Rome and successor of St. Peter. The church will find another one. And God is always there. The Holy Spirit does not go on holidays. So, there will be another Pope. He will be elected in 2 weeks or so. There is no danger.